Thank you. All right. So I don't know if there's any apology. No? All right. Any sympathies that we need to acknowledge at this time? No? All right. So I'll go to commendations. First of all, I must commend, and let me start with the parents who are at this time. I know that it's a bit difficult for you to have a meeting now because many persons are either at work or you're on your way to work, or maybe you would have had some other plans. So I have to commend you first of all to make it to the meeting. Number two, I must commend your parents for the support that you have been given thus far, where your students are concerned, from first form all the way to fifth form. I know that's not been easy, especially since the COVID-19 period. It has been a serious challenge for all of us, and we really commend your parents for doing your part in making sure your child does get a good education. Teachers who are on board as well, I commend them because I know, again, we have been working above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that, as we said before, that the students do get that education that we think is best. And so commendations to you. I must single out the guidance council, Mr. Logan, because Mr. Logan has been working assiduously, not just as a guidance counselor, but you could say as one who has been assisting the school in so many ways technically, right? And in charge of the Zoom and so on. And he has been doing a very good job thus far. So commendations to you, sir. To the children, despite the difficulties, and I've listened to a couple of them and their complaints, and I know they're under stress. I was on the compound yesterday, spoke to a couple of them, and they're in a bit of despair for some, boy, I failed the exam and so on. But overall, I see where they're having what is called a fighting spirit. They're not giving up, and parents just keep on encouraging them and encourage them not to go to the exams, please, and to leave the exams starting to have this critique of themselves that they have failed. Tell them not to do that. Once you have done the exam, just leave the exam, go prepare for your next exam and move on. Leave that behind you and just wait on the results to come out. Okay? Once you go and you have done your best, leave it there. All right? And so at this time, I want to hand over to Miss Claudia Johnson, and she will be presenting on the sixth form requirements for this present fifth form cohort. So at this time, I put before you, and please help me to welcome Miss Claudia Johnson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moore. Good morning, parents. As Mr. Moore already said, I'm the sixth form coordinator for Mort Bay High School, and I'm here to just let you know what we have planned for your children for this year. Firstly, the government of Jamaica wants us to be able to trace all the students in fifth form, meaning that they expect them all to go to the next level of their education, be it at Mort Bay High School sixth form or wherever else you may have them go. Say they're going to UTech or a community college somewhere. What we will be doing today is to send out a Google form wherein you are to enter the information for your students, their name, telephone number, your telephone number, and so on. This information is needed by the Ministry of Education. All schools are asked to send this information in, and we are going to ask you guys at the end of this meeting, it will be sent out to you. We're going to ask things like, what is a child's TRN number, their first name, middle name, if they're applying to our sixth form program, their contact numbers, email addresses, their date of birth. Remember, all of this is going to the Ministry of Education. We also want to know, remember, if they are going to be applying to our sixth form, and if not, where are they applying to? And if you may have applied and you have gotten through, or you may not have gotten through as yet, we just need to know all of that information, because the government wants to ensure that when students leave fifth form, that they are gainfully employed somewhere, whether it be that they're going to be working somewhere. We need to know that they're ending their educational career and they're going to work, or if they're going to further their education, whether in Mort Bay High School sixth form, another sixth form, or if they're going to a community college, or they're going to UTech. So we need that information. You're going to fill this form out so that we will have it, so that we can hand it over to the ministry. All students, the government wants to move from a 5-year secondary school program to a 7-year program. With that in mind, Martin Bay High School has embraced this decision by the government, and we in turn will be having sixth form in 2 different categories. We'll be having our traditional sixth form, and then we'll be having a pathway 2. So we will have pathway 1 and pathway 2 for our sixth form. So let me just explain both pathways to you. In the past, the persons who came to fifth form would have been individuals who have attained 5 CXC subjects or more with ranges 1 and 2, and that would also include English language and mathematics. So those would have been the students we admit into our sixth form program, persons who have obtained 5 CXC subjects or more with mathematics and English. We're still going to take those students in, and they will be a part of what we call pathway 1. The students who are part of pathway 1 now, they would be able to choose one of 24 different specializations. One of 24 different specializations. I'm going to ask Mr. Logan all right, so these are different specializations. And when you fill out this form, you'll be able to see them in finer detail. So 1 of 24. For the persons who may not be eligible to choose one of these 24 specializations, they will become a part of our pathway 2. So if they did not attain 5 subjects or more with 1 and 2, and also include math and English, then they will be eligible to become a part of our pathway 2 program, wherein they will get a chance to resit a CXC subject that they choose to do. They will also be able to do CAPE subjects. So they'll choose an elective CAPE subject. They'll also do communication studies if they passed English, but if they did not pass English, they'll be able to resit English language at CXC Preferred or City and Guilds. They will also be able to actually learn a skill, and the skills we have available right now are carpentry, electrical engineering, welding. We're looking at IT for occupational use, and we are thinking of some others to put in as well. All right. So what we're saying is that we want to cater to as many of our fifth formers as possible, especially during this time where they were so affected by COVID. So remember, it's pathway 1 and pathway 2 for our fifth formers. When you fill out this form and we see the interest the parents have, then we will be calling a meeting and we'll be having special interviews with individuals who indicate as such, so that we're able to place them in the right pathway, be it 1 or 2 when the results are out, and also to help them to choose the right specialization based on their aptitude and the subjects they would have been doing thus far, whether it was internal in Morton Bay High or external to us. So I just want persons have been asking about sixth form. I just want you to know that we are also thinking about our fifth formers, and we want to give them the best opportunity to be successful, whether it be at pathway 1 or 2. And just to remind you that if a child has achieved 5 subjects or more, but they want to learn a particular skill, they can also be a part of pathway 2 to actually go further in that skill. All right. So thank you. And as they complete their exams and as they actually get their results, just know that we are here ensuring that we put the best information out, and we give them the best opportunity to continue in this life. Just remember now that for pathway 1, it's a 2-year program, wherein they will be able to get an associate degree at the end of the 2 years. So the combination of subjects in the 24 specializations are geared towards them having an associate degree in their hands at the end of the 2 years. And when they're also on pathway 2, they will also be getting the NCQ certification from HEART NVQ, sorry, certification from heart, so that they will have they'll be able to be employed after they leave our sixth form program. So they'll have certification. So thank you, Mr. Moore, for allowing me the opportunity to explain to the parents what we have in store. And please fill out the form when you get them in your groups later this evening. And for all the parents who are not here in the meeting right now, please pass the word along, because we want to ensure that we trace all of our fifth formers so that no student is left behind. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank Ms. Johnson for making that presentation. Now, what I want to do, Ms. Johnson, is to open the line a bit. I'm not too sure, is there any parent you need some clarification on any point that was made in that presentation?
Happy to do so.
Yes, all right. Any parent, you can seem to just raise your hand and I would acknowledge you. Okay. So everything was as clear as mud.
I see hands up. I see hands up. I see.
Okay,
I
because I'm
see
not seeing
Pauline had her mic open first, so
okay.
we could hear Pauline first, please.
Go ahead.
Okay, a pleasant morning. You said that a child should have 5 or more subjects to attain sixth form.
Pathway
What if
one.
right? What if the child has all that subject, but she might be of a 3 in maths or English? She
For
did not get the
pathway
3.
one, the child must have English, and based on our school requirements, the child must have 1 or 2 in English and math for pathway 1. But if the person has a 2 or 3 in English or math, they are eligible for pathway 2, where they will still be doing some CAPE subjects and CSEC subjects, as well as skill.
Okay, thanks much.
No problem. There was another hand, but I'm not seeing it now. Okay, it is Codrington. You may go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
What if you know, someone who is interested in their child attending Morant Bay High School sixth form, but they did not attend Morant Bay High School? How do they go about getting the information?
Okay, the application forms will be available right before results are out. So they can go to the school office and then they will be able to fill in the information there.
All right, thanks.
No problem. Spencer, you're next.
Good morning.
Morning.
I noticed that you said pathway 1 is a 2-year program.
Yes.
What is the duration for pathway 2?
The thing, it's the same 2 years. What can happen, a student can start in pathway 2 and actually in the second year, actually be in pathway 1, depending on how they have accomplished the first year, what they have done in the first year. So the both pathways are 2 years, but we have students who say they did not meet all the requirements to actually get into pathway 1 right away. They can start in pathway 2 because they're doing a combination of CAPE, CSEC subjects and skill, and they can actually matriculate into pathway 1 if that is their desire.
Thank you.
No problem. And I'll just say again that if there's a particular student who may have qualified for pathway 1, but they see that we're offering a particular skill that they know is what they want to do in their life, they can opt to and choose pathway 2 instead of pathway 1. But what I want to tell all the parents, a lot of times our students come to sixth form just for 1 year. But at Morant Bay High School right now, we're creating an opportunity that the sixth form program is not just a babysitting time for students, but it's a time where they are there for 2 years, and at the end of it, they have their associate degree that they can put on their resume along with their CSEC and CAPE subjects to say, I am qualified in a particular specialization. And that is why I said we will be offering, at this point, our plan is to offer 24 specializations at the school, separate and apart from the skills and the hard certifications that we will be doing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yes, Mr. Sutherland.
Yes. Is it that after they do 2 years in the sixth form, will they be exempted from certain courses
At the university?
Yes.
We have no control over that situation. What we have been given is guidelines from the Ministry of Education and CXC as to the subjects the students should do to be able to do certain courses at the university. You know that education is very dynamic. It's always changing. So it's difficult for us right now to say in 2 years what the universities will be requiring for their entry into their programs. So, but as it is right now, we're ensuring that we are in line with ministry requirements and with CXC requirements for them to matriculate to university. So it's difficult for me to say in 2021 what we will be required to do in 2023.
All right.
All right, Catherine, you're next.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
You spoke about maths and English in 1 and 2. What about the other subject areas? For the 5 subjects for pathway 1?
It's 1 and 2 for the 5 subjects for pathway 1.
Okay, not only maths and English.
Not only maths. The thing is that we will have our students who will have 8 subjects or 7 subjects, but they may have gotten a 3 in English. That person, even though they have 7 subjects, with a 3 in English, sometimes we have to look on other things, maybe to actually accept them into the program. That is why we're saying that they need to have a 1 or a 2 in English and also in their specialization. So if you are intending to do a biology degree, an associate degree in biology, then you must have bio in 1 or 2. But English and math is a must.
Thank you very much.
No problem, Catherine. And if there are no other questions, I want to thank you, Mr. Moore, for allowing me to talk. And parents, please remember to fill out the Google form that will be sent to your group today. Every single person in fifth form needs to fill it out because we have to send this information in to the Ministry of Education. We want to leave no child behind. We want to know what every single person will be doing. Because let me just say, parents, if a particular child, say, is not going to sixth form or to a community college and they're just at home, what the government is telling us, or what the Ministry of Education is telling us, is that they'll be sending out probation officers to the homes to find out what really are the issues and how these individuals can be assisted. So we want to ensure that all of Mark Bay High School students are accounted for and that we can actually help them along this journey of life where their education right now is concerned.
Hello, Miss Reed here.
Yes, Miss
Hello?
Reed.
I'm trying to ask about the payment and how much subject a child has to have before she can go to the service, VAL service, and when is the deadline?
Okay, Mr. Moore will address that as soon as I'm finished with sixth form. That will be addressed shortly. Thank you for that question. Miss Jarrett, I think you're the last person. Go ahead, Miss Jarrett.
I actually came on late because of internet issues, but I don't expect you to go over everything. What are the skills that will be offered?
Right now, we have for sure carpentry, electrical engineering, welding, IT for office operations. Those are the 4 we have concrete right now, but between now and the mid of August, we're thinking about another 1 or 2, but for now, those are the 4.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Okay, back to you, Mr. Moore. Parents want to know about VAL service and graduation.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Johnson. All right, I'm hoping that all your questions will have been answered. However, if they have not all been answered, the Google form will be shared today. Am I correct, Ms. Johnson? Today? And
you're correct. Right after this meeting, it will be shared.
Very good. And the parents can call you in case of any questions, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, no problem. All right, and you can call me as well. I'll see how best I can assist. What we'll also do is that we are recording the meeting, so we'll also share the recording so you can be able to hear what is happening. All right, so let me go quickly into the graduation service. Now, There are several questions that have arisen, out of the combination of valid service and graduation. So I'm going to see how best I can clarify some of the issues and we can able to move forward. One, normally as a school, we have two ceremonies, right? We'll have valedictory service and graduation. Based on what is happening now because of COVID-19 and the fact that when we had our meetings, we had a series of meetings with the graduation committee, and that comprised of form teachers, some subject teachers, the chaplain of the school, Reverend Smith, and we met and would have discussed also the student council representative, Mr. Nesbitt. Now, we met and we discussed the graduation and the combining of valedictory service and graduation. And we came to the conclusion that we'll have only one service, and that will be the graduation ceremony. After having that meeting, we had to make a presentation now to the management committee. And the management committee is made up of the acting principal, Madam Fulburn, VP, Mrs. McDermott, Ms. King was absent due to illness, and we also had the bursar or assistant bursar. So that would be Mr. Powell or Ms. Tanya. So we had to have a series of discussions. Also, the PTA president was also present. Now, at the end of all those discussions, we came up with a basic plan to be proposed to the parents, which the PTA executive body met and would have also made the presentation as to what we have planned for the present class of 2021. And what we have planned is one graduation combined with valid service. Normally for valedictory service, you would have all the students attending, and there is no subject requirement for that. You just attend, and all of you attend, and a small fee is attached to that. For graduation, as you know, it would be a case where you'd have to meet the requirements of getting 5 subjects or more for you to be a part of the graduating class, along with other requirements. What we have decided for this year, as I said before, is to combine both and to just give one service. Some of the issues that came up would have been cost, that it would have been a little bit too much on the pockets of the parents to pay for valid service. Then you have 6th form coming up for them to pay for 6th form, university, and then to jump right into paying for a graduation for next school term. So we concluded one service. Now, I realize that there are a couple of issues. There are persons who misunderstand the one service, and they are thinking that we're going to have a physical service. We're not going to have a physical service. It will be a production. Now, a letter was sent out, and on the screen, I thought Mr. Logan is showing the letter right now. It's on the screen, and the letter detailed exactly what would take place leading up to the production and also leading up to the school posting or uploading, the valedictory service. There are some terms I'm going to break down, and production is one. When we speak of production, for those persons who would have seen the prize giving ceremony, the prize giving ceremony gives you an idea as to what is the production. What we'll do is that when the students come and they take the pictures, after taking those pictures are sent to the production team. So a production team has been employed to put together the service so that it's at the best quality. All right, so they'll get the pictures. We have 2 days that are referred to as pre-recording days. And those 2 days, those persons who will participate in the graduation, for example, the teachers who will be the announcers, who will announce the names, they will come on any of those 2 pre-recording days to call the names and be recorded. The speaker or preacher will come to record their presentation. We have other persons who will bring greetings. For example, our board chairman, we have Nesbitt, who will be there because we have a special section for motivation in the program. And so the head boy, head girl, and the student council representative, Nesbeth, will come within those 2 days to do a presentation which will be recorded. Going back to the specially invited guests now, we have, for example, the board chairman, he will be there. We have the ministry representative who will also come on the compound to record. So the pre-recording days speaks only to the persons who will be a part of the actual program itself. The days that the students will come on the compound now will be those 4 days which we call the picture taking days. So it brings me to this point. You would have received 2 things so far. One, there's a letter that was sent out to explain to you what is the procedure for this year. Presently, it is on the screen. So I will not go through everything, but you can take a look. It's on the screen right now. We have also sent out a Google form. Now, once you have read through the letter, you should get a basic understanding of what we are doing, but I do understand there are persons who still want some explanation in some areas. You had the basic understanding. Once you have gone and paid for the graduation, and you can only pay, let me quickly say this, you can only pay if you have chosen a package. So Mr. Logan, could you go down to the section where we have package, please? Thank you. All right. Now, all right, Ms. Basco is here. Welcome, Ms. Basco. The PTA president is on. Now, you will see that we have a package 1 and a package 2. Now, extensive discussions went on in creating these 2 packages. And as I said before, it was presented to the graduation committee, then taken to the management committee. The PTA president would have also taken it to the PTA executive and discussed. I must really apologize for Mr. Nesbeth. He was unable to make it to the meeting because he has exams, which is understandable. But I would have briefed him as to what took place, and he would have also spoken to the children as well, and he would have come back to me to give me some of the concerns that they would have had, and I would have been trying to address some of those issues, and he would have gone back to the children as well. So the package now, package 1 and package 2. What we have done is to try to create a package where at least you can find a package and say, all right, this one suits me. I've heard some person saying it's a bit expensive. I want to break it down. The package contains of these things. 1, you will be required to have a gown. You will be required to have a gown. Normally, you are not allowed to wear the gown unless you are part of the graduating class, which would have achieved 5 subjects or more. For this year group, class of 2021, we are very privileged at this point in time. And you're in a very privileged position where you will be allowed to wear the gown, whether or not you would have received 5 or more subjects. That's one of the privileges so far. And so the gown is 2,500. The package will vary. That's the photo package will vary, as you can see, depending on the package you choose, whether package 1 or package 2. Now you realize that you see something called the composite. The composite is a staple to some extent that you normally find, let me admit this person, sorry. All right, so that you normally find on VAL service. So normally when we have valedictory service, we would give the composite. The composite now has on it each member of a particular form. The picture is there, along with the picture of the form teacher, your teacher, the principal or acting principal, and the guidance counselor. Okay? That was normally given only at VAL service. So because we have combined the services now, we don't want to leave it out. We still want to give you a composite. So we'll give you a composite with a package 1 or package 2. For package 1, as you can see, you'll get a picture of the receiving certificate. All right? If you go to package 2, you realize it's slightly different because you get the composite, you get the receiving certificate, and you also get one 5x7 and 2 keyrings. I'm going to speak to that later on. For the production, this is where persons are not understanding now, for some persons. The production has to do with the production team or the team of persons who we have employed to put together the service. Now, we wanted to make sure that you get quality because this is graduation. And therefore, the team of persons who are doing the production are the same persons who would have done the prize giving ceremony. And if you have watched the ceremony, you would realize the quality that we got from them. And I didn't want anything less than that. And the team did not want anything less than that either. And so we decided to keep this, this production team. The folder, the corsage, sorry, $500 for the corsage and boutonniere, for the folder. And you can look in the Google form, you'll see a picture of the composite. There's a picture of the folder as well. So you can get an idea as to what they are. And the folder now, with the folder, you're able now to have on it the Memorabilia High School. And then you have two sections. You can put your certificate in there. You can put your picture in there. You can put both certificates in there, and it keeps them safe. The memorabilia, which is the t-shirt, is optional. Please note, let's say, for example, you choose package 1. You don't have to take the t-shirt, but it's recommended that you take the t-shirt, and I'm going to explain why. If you look at the cost, you realize if you take package 1 with the t-shirt, you will be spending $11,200. Please note, all of the things I just listed they come together to create one package. You can't take out any of them except the memorabilia. So only one we are allowed you to take out. Everything else has to stay there because you can't take the picture without the gown. You understand? And you can basically get the folder without accepting gown and accepting the photo package, you know, and you can't accept all those things without the production, because all of what you do goes towards creating that production that you will be able to have. This production will be uploaded. Let me quickly go there. The production now will be uploaded to YouTube, the MBHS YouTube page on the 23rd at 3. You will also have it, so you can share it with as many persons that you want, and you can encourage them to go and watch. All right, and it's free of cost. If you don't take the memorabilia, it's $8,200. Now, let me jump to package 2, as I said before. The package 2, persons are saying they want to have some wallet-sized pictures, and I've heard the concerns. And what I've done now is to speak to Mr. McKnight, who is the photographer, and I've asked him to do me a favor. All right. And so what I've asked him to do is to give me, I think it's 5 or 4, I don't remember, wallet-sized pictures. So package 2, without going through everything because they're basically the same, except for the fact that in package 2 you get 2 key rings, you get a 5x7. Total amount is $12,700. If you don't take a t-shirt, it's $9,700. So Mr. McKnight will now add to it 5 wallet-sized pictures, and that will not be of any additional cost. So once you have chosen package 2, you will also now get 5 wallet-sized pictures. All right, added to what is already there, 1, 2, 3, and 4. I hope I'm not lost anybody. Now let me go back to the t-shirt. There are some persons who are a bit hesitant in taking the t-shirt. And I'm going to suggest to you to think more of the long term where the t-shirt is concerned. If you go onto any of the past students' Facebook page, or if you go onto the MBHS Facebook page, you are going to see several past students who are at UTech, UWI, NCU, all the different colleges. And you will see that what they do meet up a whole lot, and they put their t-shirt on. All students who are here right now, many of you are going to go to UTech, university, whichever way it is, and you are going to meet up. And when you meet up, just like all the other schools, whether you want to call them Calabar, JC, just like all the other schools that they meet up, they always meet up and put their shirts on. One of the negatives is that as a school, we didn't have anything much. Now we have this t-shirt, and I'm saying it is important for you to get it, because when you now leave from the walls of Memorabilia School, 1, you have something to remind you of where you were. That's number 2. Number 2, wherever you go, whenever there is let me use this term, a link up of the MBHS past students, then you will also not feel left out, because you'll have your t-shirt and you can put it on. So it's very important to have the t-shirt. You may not see the value now, but take it from me, based on what I just told you, it's very important to have one. I will also add, you can go and check for yourself. The t-shirt actually costs $4,500. That's the cost that they're selling the t-shirts for now. However, with discussion, we had discussion with the management committee, and Madam Ford Bryan went and she spoke to Mr. Bertram, who's in charge, and we got a discount. And so class of 2021 will get t-shirts for $3,000, not $4,500. Also, we all will be able to now see the t-shirt, and on the t-shirt, again, this is a problem I realize some persons have or concern. On the t-shirt now will be printed class of 2021. So the shirts have been specially designed or printed for class of 2021 without any extra cost. So I want you to understand. So the t-shirt is concerned, we are actually looking at a very good deal based on what I've understood. From $4,500, you're paying only $3,000. Then you are getting the t-shirt now to be specially printed for class of 2021. I'm going to ask us, please, not to kind of brush over that deal. All right. Now, there's another concern persons had, and that concern, I think I can go there now. That concern had to do with uniform. I'm going to come back to the package a bit. Uniform. You will wear your regular uniform to come to take your pictures. All right. I'm going to come back to the package a bit. You'll wear your regular uniform. So over the years, normally, persons would wear their sixth form uniforms. They'd have to go and get white shirt and get a skirt and so on. We don't want you to look at any form of additional expense. All right. So you will wear your regular uniform and you come to take your pictures. The list has been sent out as to the days that each child is asked to come and take a picture and the time. So there are three things that you must have seen so far. It's a letter from the school that speaks to the graduation process. There's a Google form, and there's a list out that speaks to the time and the date your child will attend school to take their picture for the package. You're going to be in uniform. You will be allowed to, females, put on a nice hairstyle and put on your makeup. I want to make a very special appeal. I'm really sad that we didn't have more persons, but I want to make a very special appeal. Even though we have given the opportunity to parents, right? Yes. Even though we have given the opportunity to parents, please listen carefully, and students to wear your makeup. I want to make this very clear. Please note that makeup, as the name suggests, makeup, it is to enhance who you are. So we're going to ask you, please don't overdo the makeup to a point where we can't even recognize who you are. Because if you do that, when you take the picture, for example, and it's placed on the composite, and you get the picture, then you're going to have some problem because nobody's going to recognize who you are. So please don't overdo the makeup. Just do just enough so that, you know, your face is actually enhanced and not taken to a point where we can't make out who you are. So I'm making that special appeal. Please spread that to the females for me. Don't overdo the makeup, please. Boys, we expect that the boys will come, and this is the part I know that the boys not going to like so well, but you're going to have to cut your hair. You're going to have to cut your hair to come to take this picture, all right? So please note you have to get your hair cut. You don't have to be as bald as mine, but you need to get your hair cut. Get it properly groomed. So we don't want anybody come with your hair looking a bit unkempt and so on. We're asking you please to get your hair cut and come well groomed, okay? That's for the boys. So I've looked at the grooming. When you get there, the procedure is this. The gowns will be by the computer lab. And that is a computer lab which is facing the play field. So for those who are past students, you know, for some who don't, it's not very hard to find, but you're going to go to the building and we'll be there to direct you where that building faces the play field. You're going to that computer lab. You'll go there, you'll fit your gown. Persons will be there to assist you. You'll fit your gown, and I'll be coming back to the package soon. You'll fit your gown. After fitting your gown, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, please. Give me just 1 second, please. All right, sorry about that. All right, so I'm saying when you get there, you go and you take your gown, you take your marker board, and you get your epaulette, right? Yes, and you will put those on. You'll also get your corsage as well that will be attached to you. Then you go straight to the GP room. Is that clear? When you get there in the morning, you'll be told exactly where to go, because remember, all of you can't go to the room at the same time. So all the labs will be prepared. And because I know the girls will come in their makeup and so on, we don't want to get them too sweaty. So we're going to be utilizing the labs, and you'll stay there to be nice and cool as you wait. And again, the labs can't take more than about maybe 20 persons. And so we have to work quickly now. Do not come to the compound unless it is your slated time. Is that clear? So we're going to ask you please to work with us, because we have to work with the protocols. All right. So you get your gown, you come down, you go to the GP room. The photographer will be in the GP room. You go there and you take your picture. Once you have taken your picture, you are then to go back upstairs, please. And then you hand in your gown. You will sign that you have returned the gown. And then we ask you please to exit the compound. All right. And that will be for the picture taking days. Those persons now who are part of the pre-recording, those persons have already been informed. There's some other persons who I need to inform. You will tell me exactly what time you'll be there, and that will be the 18th or 19th. You get there. Once you get there, you do your pre-recording. Once you have done that, you exit the compound. So remember, no lingering. There are parents who have called to say, sir, can I come? Can I accompany my child? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So if you want to accompany your child to come to assist them, because maybe you are the person who's will assist them with their makeup, fine. Okay? But we are not saying you're going to accompany them just to come and to sit and look. No, we can't do that. If you're coming to assist your child, fine. Anything outside of that, no. Because we have to be careful about the numbers again. Okay? All right. So let me go back down to the packet. I was saying to you that Mr. Martin would add 5 pictures under that. So you have for package 2, you get 5 additional one-size pictures. All right. I am working on something which I would not want to speak about much now, but I give you a hint. I'm working on something where you will be able to get something additional. I won't even mention what it is, all right? Where you will be able to get something additional. That will not be of any cost. And that will go to either package 1, well, package 1 and 2. All 239 students will get this, which I'll not tell you about yet. When that's come through, I will let you know. All right, so I'm working on that. That's only one of the things I'm working on so far. Next concern. Persons are saying, for example, the package is too expensive. And I'm based on what I just explained to you, I'm going to ask you please to take your time to go through based on explanation to see if you still believe it's expensive based on what I just explained. The next thing is now persons are asking for different offerings in the sense of they were looking for other things as a part of the package. One of the things that we discussed as a group, and when we even discuss with the parents, we are getting the feedback. Many parents are saying we don't have it, we don't have any money. And therefore, as a team, we were hard personnel to try to create a package so that at the end of the day, all the students will be able to somehow benefit from it. So we did try that, but I realized there's some issues still. What I'll ask you to do though, as I've recommended to all the parents who have called me so far, remember graduation is not you alone. Don't be afraid to ask your granny, your auntie, your uncle, whoever it may be, friends, to assist you where necessary. They will. And I will give you the testimony of one person who called me, and that person said to me, sir, I don't have no money. All right, that's one. I don't even know the parent is on now. If she's on and she wants to say I'm on, she will. All right. And I said, listen, man, what you need to have is faith. That's number one, faith. And children, I want you to learn this today. No matter how something seems difficult, faith is very important to have. That's one. Two, never learn to give up. Because you have to do sometime, you'll be surprised how you push and how you seek out the assistance, how the assistance will come. And this parent was able to call back, I think in less than 2 days. He said, Mr. Moore, I thank you for the advice that you gave. I actually took your advice, went by faith, and I've gotten all the money. Remember now, this is the same parent who said she had none whatsoever, and she doesn't know where it's coming from. So I'm saying to us, this is the final or the last event you have as a school for your students. Let us make an effort. I want all of them to be there. So far, check the Google form, and I've seen only, I think it's 153, the last time I checked, out of 239 who have done the Google form. However, when I get the calls from the parents, they are saying to me for some, they have paid. Have you filled out the Google form? No. Please, please, once you have paid the funds for package 1 or 2, it is a must that you fill out the Google form, because what the Google form does, on it you will see the form, child's name, I think, yes, you choose whether package 1 or 2, you tell us what size t-shirt you want, you understand? If you don't do that, we don't know what you want. So even though you may have paid, you'd end up with nothing because I don't know what you have paid for. It is a must that you fill out the Google form. Let me say it again, please. It is a must that you fill out the Google form once you have paid. Is that clear? All right, thank you. So if there's any parent now, if when I'm talking and you have not done the Google form yet, while I'm talking, please fill the Google form once you have paid. If there are parents who are having difficulties, give me a call now, please. I sent a couple of voice notes out. I'm going to ask you, give me a call. Don't just sit there and suffer by yourself. No, no, no. Give me a call. I can tell you for those who have called me so far, the results are great. Give me a call. The deadline would have passed, which is the 23rd. However, I must admit that you got a short time in order to respond and to pay. We understand that. We had some difficulties coming forward. We had some difficulties, and therefore the letter came out a bit late, but it's not. You can still go ahead and pay. What I've asked persons to do for those who have difficulties, you are to 1, call me. 2, when you call me, I can tell you one of the things I will tell you. You need to let me know, when can you possibly pay? Give me a little date, and please don't give me until next year. Give me an early date. When can you pay? Once you give me that date, I'll see what best I can accommodate you and advise you as well. And then now I ask you to send me an email to my MOE account stating child's name, your name, the difficulty you're facing, and the proposed date you have to pay the fee. Once you have done that, then we start business. So please, I don't want anybody saying, me not the money, me not the money. No, man. This is something that we want to make an effort that your child is there. All right. Now, somebody spoke to having more options. One of the major issues, parents, and can I say something to you? The PTA body, myself, and all the executive members, all of us were in one accord where this is concerned. We said, boy, the parents don't have the money, the parents don't have the money, the parents don't have the money. And with that concern, you know, all the time people would say a slap in the face. After the package came out now, I'm getting calls, people are saying, but they want this and they want this and they want that. And we were there saying, boy, the poor person can't afford anything. And persons are saying they want additional things. I hear persons want plaque. A couple of persons are saying they want plaque. I've asked Mr. McKnight to tell me what is the basic cost of the plaque. I'm still waiting to find out. So if it's a case where we can fit in, I'll let you know, but not today. All right? But I'll let you know. Person spoke to the quality of the pictures being taken by Mr. McKnight. I am presently in dialogue with Mr. McKnight, and students have actually sent me some samples of pictures that other photographers would have taken. And what I've done is to compile those pictures, and I've sent them off to Mr. McKnight. And I'm in dialogue with them. We are looking at them, and he said, yes, I see what they are saying. And he said, sir, I'm going to be seeing how best I can improve on what they are saying. So he's working on that, okay? All right. Now I'm coming down, and I'm going to give you a chance to answer your questions. Now, for the grooming, which I've already spoken about, I really want to go back to grooming. Please, I have to go back to it, please. Females, please. I know you like your makeup. I have to go back to it. I know you like your makeup. Mommies and daddies, I know some of you like the makeup too. But I'm going to ask you, please, do not overdo it. All right? Do not overdo it, please. When you look at your child leaving the house, she must look pretty. I leave it there. She must look pretty. All right? The makeup must complement who she is. I'm going to give you this example. When I went to TVJ, when I was working with the school transcripts team many years ago, and I went inside, I'm a man. When I used this makeup thing, and I was surprised when they said, oh, I go into that room. And I said, okay, then sat in a chair, and I saw a makeup artist, and she came and they started make up my face. Now I start make up my face because I'm not used to makeup. I'm a man. But anyway, so she make up my face. And please note, she gave me a couple layers well of makeup on my face. But you never know. You'll never know. The females in TVJ that you see on the television each and every day, and all different persons who are in production, those who watch movies, and you see those persons looking pretty, if you see some of them real face, you'll never imagine. They have makeup, but the makeup, as the name suggests, it adds, it makes up what you have. It doesn't throw off who you are. And I want us to understand. Many of us misunderstand the purpose of makeup. So we put on some orange and some green and some purple. That's not for the graduation purpose. Okay? It is to enhance who you are. And I have to go back to it. Please, girls, I want to see you come in makeup, yes, but we must can identify that this is a person and it enhances who you are. Okay? Now the PTA president is here, and she will also be making a point. And then after that, I will allow you to ask some questions. All right, we have gone over time a bit. I'll allow you to ask questions. So hold the questions a bit. Let's hold the questions a bit. I see some in the chat. Ask the PTA president at this time to speak, and she is Mrs. Basco. So please make welcome our PTA president for the Mount High School Parent Teachers Association, Mrs. Basco.
Good morning. Are you hearing me, Mr. Moore?
Loud and clear.
Are you hearing me, everyone?
Good morning. Hearing you.
Okay, good morning. As Mr. Moore said before, I am Mrs. Basco, the president. Let me just commend first parents for supporting your children through this educational journey. Of course, it has been a very rocky one. You prevailed, and also to the children for being, and how could I not say thank you to for their work and for I just want to some things that we have been doing since we were elected, this new PTA executive. Since we were elected, we took part in a motivational and empowering session with the students doing external exams. And of course, the students would tell you about that. I spoke to them, and we also treated them to some light refreshment. Now, let me just get quickly now the graduation service. Of course, we were presented information. I took it back to the executive, and the executive, they were very, very concerned about the cost for the graduation for both packages, especially at this time that we are in the pandemic, and we know that some parents actually have lost their jobs, and some parents are actually working on half a salary. And so we have been in dialogue with the school administration, and it's now to a point where we have sent a letter to the chairman. And so we are not, just to let you know that we are not sitting here idle. We are very much concerned, and we care about our parents and children. Okay, another thing, I'm just going to encourage those parents who can assist, because Mr. Moore would have, I was not there at the meeting, so I don't know it all. Those of you who can assist, because you know that they would have to sanitize and distribute the gowns and so on. For those parents who can assist, I'm going to encourage you to give your names to Mr. Moore. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I left that part for the Madam President to speak to, the assistants. And please note, for the assistants, we need persons who can assist in decoration. Now, Miss Bent is in charge of decoration, and she's asking for assistance. The decoration will be done on the 9th of August, and they will start at 9. It will be on the school compound. So if you're interested in being a part of the decoration team, please let me know. The area where we'll do the picture taking or photograph of each child will be the GP room, and so it will be decorated. That same area now will be used for the pre-recording. So we want to have that sense of synergy in that when you look at the pictures and look at the video itself, you are seeing the same background. All right, so we need persons who can assist. So far, we have Mr. Ferron, Miss Bent, and Miss Beckford, who will be assisting. If you can assist the 9th, please let me know. You can simply send me a WhatsApp message, sorry, all right? We also need persons now to be in the rooms, because as we said, people listen me good. I want you to realize that the numbers are increasing. So parents, I have a great fear, and I hope my fear is not realized. Based on what I'm seeing, I mean, who knows, maybe the country shut down again. Please pray that people follow the protocols, all right? Because that is why we have to do a virtual graduation. The size of our cohort is 239. Do the math. If we're able to say, all right, let's have a physical function. 239 is definitely too large. Even if we allow one parent to come along, do the math, you understand. And therefore, we had to stick to virtual, all right? But we are hoping to give the best quality. I sent there in the group so you can see an example of the prize given to have an idea of how it looks, all right? And I'm telling you, we are looking at the best quality. All right, let me see now. So those who want to assist, I need you to send a WhatsApp to me so I can know, or better yet, send it to the PTA president. She will relate to me. Okay. All right. Let's look at the concerns that are here now. I see where in the chat, if you have a concern, Ms. Bosco, do me a favor. Could you just take a look to see all the persons who have raised your hand, and I'll get to them soon. All right. Let me see now. I think somebody's saying here, all right, yes, we'll allow to speak. I think there should be, all right. Somebody's saying, I think there should be other options when it comes to the souvenir, and I agree with you. But as I said to you, one of the main reasons we're looking at is the cost, and saying, boy, based on discussion, most persons will not be able to afford. And that's why we didn't really have another souvenir of such. But as I said, if it's a case where we can fit something else in, I'm still having dialogue to see what can be done. But please note, if we fit another souvenir in, whichever packet it might be, it will mean that you'll have to end up now spending more. And that's another part of the problem I have. You'll have to end up spending more. So you have to think about it if you really want to have another souvenir. All right. Who are the children who will be taking part in the pre-recording, and what are the terms and conditions? All right, the persons who will be taking part in the pre-recording, I can tell you from now, the valedictorian is none other than Shoshana Morgan. And without a doubt, you would know that Shoshana has been consistently making the honor roll and being the top student for approximately 3 years now. All right. And so she will be the person who will be the valedictorian. Also, Ramik Nicholson and Isabel McDonald will be asked to introduce the speaker. All right. And we still will add some other persons because we still need to choose no persons to do the scripture reading, which I'll hopefully by tomorrow into today, I'll be calling those persons for scripture reading. And then, you know, I want to make a special appeal. I need someone from the group to sing the school's hymn for me. I would prefer at least maybe 2 persons who can sing the school hymn. So I'm throwing it out right now, and let me know I need at least 2 persons who can say, all right, we will sing the school hymn. So you will have to let me know today, please, and you will be booked either the 18th or 19th to come to do the pre-recording, okay? We have also asked Mr. Unique to do a special presentation. So what I want, Mr. Unique, are you on now? Let me check first. Mommy, Unique, are you on?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Unique, what I need from you right now, maybe you can put in the chat, please, your email address. All the persons who have pictures, any, you know, let me not say any. If you have pictures, appropriate pictures that have been taken of you on a field trip, you know, when you maybe were on the compound at a function, you have group pictures, maybe it's individual pictures, but I prefer group pictures. I'm going to ask you, please, Mr. Unique will place in the chat right now his email address, the MOE one, sir, please. And you're going to email pictures to him. He will be creating a little slideshow, all right, in honor of the class of 2021. So let me repeat, please, Mr. Unique, right now. Let me see if he has done it as yet. Please put in the chat for me your MOE account or email. All right, so while he's doing that, you have pictures. I have some pictures that I've taken, and I will be emailing them to him, and he will create a little package, okay? So those are some of the persons from the class of 2021 who will be participating. And as I said, as I go along, there's some others who I will be calling. All right. Mr. Unique, I'm still waiting to see your MOE account, sir. Let's type in chat, please. All right, while he's doing that, I think there are persons who have questions. And let me see if I can find who are those persons. Ms. Basco, can you tell me who's the first person?
I just one hand was, I see mine to be secondary, so I don't know. That hand is up. That's the only hand.
All
but
right.
in that, a concern, there is a concern of the time to pay the fees, the limited time, the short time. That concern is raised.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question, concern. But remember now, I did touch a concern before, and I said, I know that it was short, but you can simply speak to me. If you have a little issue, just call me. All right. And we work something out. What I've done for the parents so far, for those who are having difficulties, I've worked with them. They have told me, all right, when can they pay? Within a reasonable time, when can they pay? They have given me a date. And so they send me an email and yeah, to my MOE account, and that email will state, all right, I can pay by X date, and I hold him to that date. I gave the testimony of one parent, and please know that one is more than one. What would have said to them, go by faith, man. Ask your friends, ask your families, don't do it alone. I think most of the time we need help and don't speak up. Speak up, man. Talk to your friends, they will assist. This is graduation. Everybody likes to see them, their little niece or nephew, you know, whatever the case may be, or friend graduate. Speak to someone to assist you. But please speak to me. Thank you. And remember to fill out the Google form. All right. Any more questions? Anybody else? Hello? All right. Let me see if I can find.
Concern.
Yes.
Another concern, the person, put in the chat. So it came up a while ago.
Not seen it?
I'm coming.
Okay.
Okay. The packages, one, it's too limited. And they want to know why the gowns, they are so costly owing to the fact that they belong to the school. That's another concern. Packages too limited and why the gowns so that they belong.
All right. All right. All right. You kind of break it up a little bit. I think I got the gist of what you're saying, though. All right. I think you're asking why is the gown so expensive? All right. The cost I got would have been the cost from the school, and so that question would have been raised by the PTA president as well as to why the gowns are so expensive, and based on explanation, from what I understood from speaking to the bursar and the principal, they are saying one of the issues why it's a bit expensive is that it has to go through the cleaning and the preparation for the picture taking days, because you have to clean one set and then you have to clean another set because we have 2 different days. I think we have just about 130, I think 32 gowns, thereabout. All right. And therefore, the cohort is 239. And so they are saying that they're going to have to clean them. That's the first set to clean. Then after you've taken the pictures for the first 2 picture days, then they have to go again and clean. That's the explanation I've gotten. All right. But I know the PTA president is on it to see how best that can be addressed. I hope that would have answered your question. But as to the cost of the gowns, I can't speak to it much. Yes. Oh, I think Miss Basco is trying to say something, but I'm not hearing. If it's
No, I was just saying that to answer the question, that explanation, it doesn't answer the question, but I will just let it remain at that.
Oh, all right. I don't know what is happening on my side, but I'm not hearing so well. All right. Not hearing so well. All right. All right. Any other question?
I have my hands raised.
All right, but before you hand, just 1 second. Somebody here, Opal, is saying, is it that pictures of all graduates should be sent to QA? No. It is not the graduation pictures you'll be sending to QA. No. What you're going to send are pictures of when you would have gone to, possibly, you would have gone to a field trip. Maybe you had a little function at school, you would have taken a picture. So it's more candid pictures. There's not pictures of the graduation, no. It's pictures of you actually in uniform at school, you know. Maybe you're at a little class function, you're dressed up. Maybe it's Jamaica Day. Remember you had a Jamaica Day? So maybe you have some lovely pics of you on Jamaica Day, or you and your group on Jamaica Day. Those are the pictures you send to QA. All right, I'm coming to the person, one second. Prendiga said, the cost for the gowns could still be less. More persons means more money, so it could be discounted. And tell you what, I hear what you're saying, I understand what you're saying, and I have spoken to the committee, and I've spoken to the management committee about this issue. I have also heard the concern, and they have also heard the concern, and the consensus we got from the management committee, they are saying that they will not be reducing the cost of the gowns. Now, please note, I do not have any control over the cost of the gowns. I quickly and hasten to say, what I have control over, one, I would have spoken to Mr. McKnight about the pictures, and so I would have gotten a good discount on that where the pictures are concerned. I have concern over the production to some extent in trying to negotiate, and he would have also given a fairly good deal, folders and those things. But where the gown is concerned, I've negotiated, yes, but the management committee has made it quite clear the cost will remain at 2,500. I do know that your PTA president, Mrs. Basco, is also on your behalf lobbying to see what can be done to reduce the cost of the gown. We will have to wait to see what happens with that. Okay. All right. Let me just answer the questions and I go to the person who, I think it sounds like Ms. Valentine. Why the package limited? All right. I did speak to that again, the limitations with the package. One of the main reasons for the limitations, as I said before, is that when the committee sat down, all levels of the committee, from the graduation committee to the management committee to PTA president, to when the PTA president went to the executive body and to the parents, one of the main concerns that came out, people were saying, one, there are many persons who have been laid off. There are many persons who are working half pay. There are persons who are not working full week. There are persons who just don't have the money. And so we sat down and tried to figure out how could we create a package that it is still one that is not too expensive. I will say this to you. The production is something that would not normally be on the package. But because of COVID-19 and we can't come physically, we have to have a production, or else there will be nothing for you to see. Now, we don't want to be that anybody does come and video something. No, this is something for a lifetime. And we want it. I am telling you, I can tell you personally, I want the best. I want the best, that at the end of the day, when you look at the production, you should be pleased because this will be there for a lifetime. Okay? All right. Ms. Valentine, please go ahead.
Good morning.
Like Valentine.
Good morning. Yes, it's Mrs. Valentine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have several issues.
Go ahead, please.
Especially where the gown is concerned. I don't see why this high-hand attitude has been taken towards it. The gowns belong to the schools. Parents were not allowed to be a part of that discussion, and without parents, we don't have a school, right? And if all of us as parents decide that we are not going to pay for whatever, if we decide that we are not going to, I mean, you won't have a graduation, you won't have a package, right? So I don't see why is that there's no accommodation for this. Parents were not asked and persons weren't asked to volunteer to assist, because that too could have cut the cost. Yes, we understand that you need to prepare them, right? And all of that. That is quite understandable. So if parents were facilitated, the decision was made without.
Hello? Whoa, hello? Hello?
Still hearing you, sir. Not sure what happened to Mrs. Valentine.
Yes, okay.
We were not allowed to be a part. I know you have to have committees and all of that, but for this thing to just be shoved down our throats like this, I have a serious issue with it. And I really would like my son to be a part of the whole thing, right? Because he has worked hard and all of that. But for this thing to be shoved down our throat in this kind of way, I don't like this thing. I don't like what is happening, right? And I think it can't be that you're just not going to change cut the cost. Were we called to a meeting to say, all right, have a discussion, how can we go about this thing together as a group? That did not happen. And to be getting a letter 1 week before to say you must come up with this money, as was mentioned by several persons about the hardship and all of that. I can't just be thinking of myself, oh, I can afford it and so it is okay. No, we need to think about other people, right? Some persons have dire situations, and there should be some heart, some feeling for people, right? And so I think consideration needs to be given. It can't be just that, oh no, this is not going to. I am old-fashioned. We could have had a third package where those of us who want the wallet size and the next size and the next size, that should have been allowed too. I know this whole thing takes time and effort to plan. I know that. I've been a part of the school system for almost going 30 years. And so I know, all right? But I read, if we're a family, we should be working together as a family and looking out for each other. And I think something needs to be said or done about this. I don't think this should just be shoved on us and for us to just accept it like that.
All right. I am going to assume, because I'm not too sure what does that mean, that Ms. Van is finished. Please help me. Are you hearing anybody? Oh, hello.
Yes, Mr. Moore.
Yes, sir, we're here.
Okay.
There is also another hand that is up, Mr. Moore.
No, let me answer it. Let me see your best. All right. I'm hearing the passion from Ms. Valentine. I hear it quite well, and I understand the passion quite well. But as I would have said about the date on the payment date, that was a bit sudden, as I would have said before. All right. That would have happened because of a couple of issues, and one, the whole aspect of COVID-19 and trying to get things in place and so on, and several meetings were done, so it actually came down to the wire. But as I said before, you still can pay. As I've said before, you still can pay. As I've said before, parents have been calling me, students have been calling me. We have been working things out. You can still pay. As I've said before, once you call me, because I can't deal with each person at this point in time within this meeting, but once you call, once you send me a note, then something now will be worked out. And so what I do ask these persons, okay, when can you possibly pay? They will say, all right, the money not coming until next week or whatever date it is. That's all right. What date are you looking at? They let me know, and I ask you to email me, to my MOE account, a little letter stating when you're expecting to pay. So at least I know what to look for. So persons have been doing that. I've also said persons based on what when you call me, because depending on what you say to me, I will now decide what to say to you. So I will deal with you on a one-on-one basis because each person is different. And then I counsel you based on that. Based on what I've been done so far, the results I can tell you for persons who have then given the feedback is that, sir, based on the advice you would have given to me, I can now tell you I no longer need that date. I'm going to pay tomorrow morning. I'm going to pay this afternoon. Okay, so that has been dealt with, and we really apologize for the late sending out a letter a week for the fees to be paid. All right, but we are working on that. Where the gown is concerned, I will say it again. There's nothing much I can do where the gown is concerned, except based on the fact the school says to me it's 2.5. That's the cost. I question it. I have my concern. I state it. I would have spoken to the acting principal. I've spoken to the management committee. All right, and the result I would have gotten in the sense of response, it will remain at 2,005. They would have explained to me, as I would have said before, why it is at 2,005. Okay, as I've said before, your PTA president is actively lobbying on your behalf to see how that can be reduced. She's still actively lobbying. And I guess she will come to you to let you know what is the result there. So parents, you need to speak to your PTA president and let her see how best she can assist. But I know she's already doing her part. She can give you more details if she requires at this time. All right, I hope I've touched all the points by Ms. Valentine. All right, anybody else, please? Any other question? Ms. Valentine, have I answered to your satisfaction?
Mr. Moore, you have to say what you have to say. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Basco, help me out know who's next, please.
Yes, another hand. I see Lorraine.
Okay, go ahead, Lorraine.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, parents. I must say, as a part of the PTA exec we were disappointed that we were not a part of the planning and decision-making process because it relates directly to us and our children. And without our children and without us behind them, there can never be a valedictory service or a graduation. The PTA really has concern as to the cost of the packages, and there's not much great difference between the two packages. And we really put forward suggestion as to how it could have been reduced as it relates to the gown. And we were told that it would be looked into. And we were quite surprised when no feedback came to us and the package was just sent out to you parents like that. So before the package was even sent out to parents, we raised concern and we made recommendations and suggestions, but it seemed it never mean anything. Because I'm wondering, if we are such a large body of students representing parents, our voice should mean something. So if we make recommendation on behalf of the parents as to how the package could be cheaper as it relates to the gown, and we were told it would be looked into, and then we just see the package went out, it's no regard to us, they disregarded us.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. All right, I'm hearing you. And I understand again your concern.
Yeah, what is the purpose of us then? If we can't make recommendations and suggestions and be included in decision-making process, what purpose do we serve? And this is not, I know this is above you, Mr. Moore, this is not an attack on you.
Could you give me 1 second, please? Just 1 second, please. Just 1 second. Thank you. All right, so Ms. Basco again, let me know what the hand that you have there, please. Thank you. All right, to answer to you again, as I said, we would have had dialogue and so on, all right, where the gowns are concerned. I said to you, dialogue would have been had with the management committee, all right, and so that's the response I got. So I can't go against it because remember, I work at a place and I have to go based on instructions, all right? So, all right, I just called because I wanted to know if Madam Ford Bryan was in, and I'm understanding that she is there. So, Ms. Basco, let me know what the hands you have there now, please. And then I'm going to ask Madam Ford Bryan to speak.
I think I see the Morant Bay High School. I don't know that and up for quite some time now.
All right, so go ahead now. That hand would be the hand. That hand would be the acting principal. All right, so I'm going to ask our acting principal, Mrs. Ford Bryan, it's time to speak.
Good morning, everyone. This is Marsha Ford Bryan. Right, I have been here since morning, since the start of the meeting, since 9 o'clock. And I must commend Mr. Moore for convening this meeting and for ably carrying out the discourse concerning the valedictory and graduation service. I must also commend Ms. Claudia Johnson, who went through the process of our new and improved sixth form program that we will be accommodating this year and onwards for our students here at Morro Bay High School, making them far more marketable as we move along in this 21st century. I must also say thank you, parents, for taking the time out, of course, of your busy schedule for being here and listening on, making your suggestions and expressing yourself quite passionately. As we move along, Mr. Moore has been explaining the packages and he has been explaining some explanations too, and he is in fact doing a good job at that. I, however, want to just add to some of the narrative that I have been hearing as the discussion went along in terms of some of the concerns that parents are raising. Indeed, some of these concerns came and it came to the fore and we had multiple discussions. The discussions were had at various levels, and might I add too that for the most part, all stakeholders were a part of the planning at some point or another, because I know that all major stakeholders were a part of the committee. So while I sit and I listen and I hear that persons were not a part of the discussions or a part of the decision making, I can't accept that to be so. One of the main efforts this year was for us to be as inclusive as possible. And this is perhaps one of the reasons why the letter, in fact, went out as late as it did, because a lot of discussions were taking place. Concerning the date on the letter, let me address that first. We are aware, and of course, planning was going on before, and the letter should have gone out long before they actually did. The fact of the matter is, every year we are accustomed to sending out the letters with the month end, hoping that those persons who would be in receipt of their month end salary or their fortnightly salary, they would at least be able to make a deposit on the valedictory service graduation. And so we know over the years that our parents are known to actually be able to pay or make arrangement. And so even if the date is made or even after the date, we are accommodating. So we are not heartless and we are mindful of what is happening. So Mr. Moore has gone ahead and of course is making additional arrangements and accommodations, and persons have been coming to the school and they have been paying. Some have not been paying in full, which is okay because payment packages are also allowed. Once we know what your situation is, and we don't have to even know the details of the situation, but accommodations will be made. The next major concern I am hearing is that of the gowns. It has been communicated to Mr. Moore, for which he should take to the committee, which he did. It has also been communicated with our PTA president, Mrs. Basco, that because of COVID too, and because we have to ensure that these gowns are sanitized, and they will have to be sanitized twice, our production line will be increased in order for us to meet the time frame that the second batch of students needed to come in. This was communicated, and of course, at no point in time did we get a suggestion to suggest that the parents themselves will get a team of persons to assist with this production line. Certainly that would have been accommodated. We were asked on numerous occasions, why is it at this cost? Shopping around other persons, other schools, they will have it at $2,500, but they would not have accommodated, or they don't take into account rather that it will have to be done twice in terms of cleaning. And we have to bear that in mind. Now, had we had the suggestions coming forward after the discussions, mark you, because I can't sit in all meetings, and so I am dependent on my right hands who are convening these meetings to take back the suggestions to our discourse so that we can speak to it. Had we had suggestions to say that we will have volunteers who will wash, who will iron, who will take care of the martyr boards, who will assist with the cape and all of the preparation of the gowns, then certainly we will accommodate that. All we have been asked of is to explain why is it that it costs how much it costs. And this has pretty much been the cost over the years. And even with COVID, the cost will not change, even though we are incurring far more expense where it is concerned. We also have to make provision if any of the gowns or any of the accessories to the gowns are damaged. Now, this is also a discussion that took place with the PTA president and the bursar, and all of this was explained. But let me say, I won't say much more on the matter of the gown, seeing that the matter was taken as far to the board, and I am now hearing from the first time from the PTA president that this was placed in writing to the Board of Management. So I will await the Board of Management to have discourse with us so I know exactly what the concerns of the gowns were. And that is how much I will speak to the gowns. I will not speak any further on that matter in this forum. But let me add that our aim is to be as inclusive as possible, and we have been in dialogue. So to hear narratives suggesting that we have been shoving things down people's throats, we have just been coming up with these things and expect that persons ought to pay, and all of these, it is not so, and that cannot be digested as the way in which we would have done things. Another major issue I'm hearing coming up is that the packages are limited. No, these packages were taken to all stakeholders based on information coming from Mr. Moore. These packages were taken to the PTA. The PTA had the discourse in their executive meeting, and one of the packages that we had, it had multiple wallet-sized pictures on it. I think it was about 30 or so. Mr. Moore, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And upon going to the executive, I was told that the executive body says that nobody is really taking a package with 30 wallet size pictures and so on. So Mr. Moore came back to us and Mr. Moore says, you know, that package that we have with the number of wallet size, I was advised that no one is going with a package like that. Let us reduce that. And he went and he had dialogue with Mr. McKnight, who will be providing that service, and instead got the key rings. Now, after all of that discussion and information coming back to us through the PTA executive to say what the parents would want and so on, we are now hearing that that was in fact one of the packages that persons would have wanted. Now, I know that during this period, because it is COVID, it is going to be a little bit more or even far more difficult because we don't have the students in front of us. We don't have the parents in front of us for us to have that rigorous discourse. We have to be going to and fro, and somehow I am believing that aspects of communications have been broken down. But let us not get overly passionate and start throwing words around, such as shoving down throat, or not lobbying, or not taking into consideration what is happening, or not being considerate, because every single one of us are going through financial crisis. Don't you believe that we have a sit high, looking low mentality, because that doesn't exist. For one, I have been a year teacher for years. I know the pockets of our parents because I am also included in that. I know over the years all that we have to do to make packages available, as well as to make packages manageable to our parents. So I know exactly what a graduation valedictory package can cost, what parents can afford, and how we can go through the process to ensure that we reach a compromise. There is no need for a negative narrative. We are in fact working together. We have always said it, and not only said it. Without parents, there can't be school. Without administrators, there can't be school either. Without teachers, there can't be school either. We are equally just as important as anyone else. So let us change our narrative. Let us have that discourse, but don't speak of a high-handed decision, because that was never the case. It was never the case. As far as I am sitting and as far as I am seeing, we have had the dialogue wherein we are answering certain questions, but clearly certain suggestions, as I am hearing now, I am hearing for the very first time. So let us let as I said before, the argument concerning the gown, let us leave it here until further development, seeing that it has gone elsewhere. And let us see how best it is that we can work with our parents. We know the constraint. Mr. Moore is far flexible, and he is looking forward to working with his parents continuously, closely. So if there is a struggle going on, which I know there is for some of our parents, there is no need to panic. There is absolutely no need to panic, and there is no need to make a mountain out of a hill right now. We are not here to create conflict with each other. We are here to work with each other. So let us try to do that as professionally as is possible. So again, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time out. I know that Mr. Moore wanted this meeting to end far earlier than now, but I am happy that we had this meeting and that all of these discussions came out of it, all of these suggestions and these concerns. So as we move forward, let us do this as partners. We are not enemies. We are, in fact, partners. So back to you, Mr. Moore. I have to go into another meeting, but definitely we will have a discussion right after. And certainly, Ms. Basco, we will be speaking in short order. Thank you so much, parents, for your patience. Thank you for your continued support and cooperation. Have a lovely day. Thanks. Mr. Moore.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Foodbrand, Acting Vice Principal. Thank you for being in the meeting. And as you rightly said, I really, because I have so many other meetings, I'm missing another meeting now. All right.
Mr. Moore?
Just one second, please. Just one, I'm not too sure it is, but just a second, please. All right. Now, the acting principal would have...
It's Mrs. Basco, sir.
Oh, 1 second, Ms. Basco. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, but I'm saying Madam Principal would have spoken. And so let's see how we can move forward from here. If there's any sense of clarity that is needed, let's see if we can. Madam Fulburn, are you still there? Hello? All right. Let's see what can be done now. Ms. Basco, quickly, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Can I go ahead, Mr. Moore?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Mr. Vasco.
Mr. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yes, okay, I can hear you.
All
okay,
right.
As Mrs. Fordbrand said, it's not really trying to answer her what she said.
Yes.
We are going to be having a discussion, but
Yes.
let me just clarify for the parents that the PTA body was not a part of the planning. What happened is that we were given a proposal, and at the onset, I said to Mr. Moore and those persons who were in that meeting that the package was too expensive. The committee had already planned their thing. It had gone to the management committee, and Mr. Moore was just doing a presentation to some other stakeholders. And there and then I said to Mr. Moore that the package, the fact that we are in a pandemic, that it is expensive. So I said it. So I was not ever a part of any planning. So I just want to make that crystal clear to the parents here. And that I said to you also that we were some discussion and dialogue with the administration, and I was waiting some answers to wait and be patient. And we were waiting only to find out what I have to say for now. Okay.
All right, thank you very much. All right, as was said before, discussions are ongoing where the goal is concerned, and you would have heard that the PTA president would have already written to the board, and therefore it is under discussion. So I guess whatever outcome that the board will
Mr. Moore,
yes.
Mr. Moore.
Go ahead.
Sorry to cut you, sir. But I see someone in the chat said that I should have interjected. No, we don't want any, so we're working together and we really sort of confrontational because I am and I've also said to you that was to the chairman to be in a meeting with the chairman tomorrow. Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Now, I'm hearing all the concerns. I will just say this. One, the gown, discussion about the gowns. As you know, the PTA president would have already written to the board, and so they are having discussions where that is concerned. And so I guess we will be having the outcome soon. All right, I can't speak to what is soon, but I know the outcome will be there soon. I'm seeing where someone is saying here, what about the photographer, right? Any consideration being given to the alternate cheaper option suggested by the student body? If not, to replace the current as an alternative, as it is being suggested for the approximately half the cost. I am not so familiar. I've not seen this package, I must admit. I have not, and I've been having discussion with Mr. Nesbitt, the student council, for a while now, but I've not seen, and I've spoken to other students too, but I've not seen this package. So if there's an alternate package, let me know. But please note, we have to be careful. We have to be very careful. Extensive discussions would have basically been done, extensive, where these packages are concerned. All right, extensive. And as Madam Forby would have said before, part of the reason for the letters coming out that late is that we had extensive discussions, all right? And we have to be careful that we don't end up being like the man with the donkey, and where he started carrying the donkey instead of the donkey carrying him, all right? I will say this, it is kind of very difficult to appease to all and each parent. It's very difficult to do that, all right? And therefore, what we were trying to do is to make it as reasonable as you possibly can. And as I would have explained the package, someone spoke to the production. Let me explain to you the production again. Somebody spoke about the cost. Somebody placed in the chat about the cost. We have to be careful about the comments you make. It's best to ask questions, all right? Now, when you do any production, any function, you have to always think of your overheads, all right? For example, again, I'm saying to you that some things that I can't say to you now in the sense of in the affirmative, but I'm presently in dialogue. There are some things that I'm to get from persons who have asked as donation, and they have said to me, yes. However, I've not gotten them as yet. And so we have to be able to factor those things in the cost as well, okay? We have to be very careful. Also, even though it's 239 students, you know, and I love all 239 to be at the function. We have had the experience over the years where we know that when it comes to things like these, not all 239 sometime will come. I'm trying to see how best I can change that. So I also, in the cost, have to bear in mind that too. Now, when you employ a production team, I can't go to the production team and let him know that, hey, you know, there's enough students never come, so I can't pay you. I can't do that. You understand? And therefore, so I'm encouraging you, you need to come on board. The more you come on board, the more persons who are taking on the package, it does make it easier now to actually incorporate more things in the package. Please work with me now. I think you're working with me long enough now to understand. Please work with me. The more persons come on board, the more I can guarantee you, you can receive. I leave it at that, okay? So please work with me. But I did not get the alternate package. I'm not too sure what it's about, but let's see how best we can work with what they have for now. And as I said, I'm still in dialogue with Mr. McKnight. Just bear in mind, for package 2, you will be getting five one-size pictures, which will be added to package 2 without any additional cost. I must apologize, do I have to end this meeting now because I do have some other meetings to attend and issues to deal with, and I'm sure the parents also. What you can do for me, if there's any unanswered question, by now you all know my number. You all know my number. You can send me a WhatsApp message and I'll see your best and I can address your issue. All right. Somebody saying, what about package 1? I don't know. What about package 1? I'm not sure. What is the issue with package 1? But remember, we have to close off, please. I think I've inconvenienced a lot of persons because some are at work and some would have had, oh, the wallet size. All right. I spoke to him, I spoke to him and I did ask him. what can you do for me for that as well? And he said, no, man, he really can't do anything much about that one because he's actually straightening himself right now. The only thing I can say to you, I like to be honest when I speak. Keep your fingers crossed now. I'm still in dialogue with him. We have worked with him for a very long time. He has a certain level of respect and so on. And we have a good working relationship. So keep on praying now. I'm going to go back to him to see what can be done. So let's see what happens, okay? But for now, it is just for package 2. All right, let's see what happens. But I'm still working, and help me pray. All right, can I, at this point in time, assume that we can now bring this meeting to a close? Let me see, I see quickly. The PTA president should have, all right, when the principal, no, I'm glad I read this one. Listen me good. No, miss, no, miss. Let me tell you something. Whatever we do, there must be a level of respect. And for all the persons who you would have been interacting with me for 5 years now and some more than 5, you must have respect. And any meeting that I chair, I don't care who it is, there must be a level of respect and cordiality when we are interacting with each other. One of that basic level of respect and cordiality speaks to when someone is speaking, you don't rebut them in the middle of their speech. No. So we don't practice those things, all right? We don't practice that. You can always address the issue at the end of the person speaking, but not to interject while the person is speaking. No, we don't practice that. But I'm glad that the PTA president, though, would have rebutted and spoke to some of the issues that Madam Principal would have raised, okay? But that's a protocol we have, and we don't want to break that one. We have done good for the last 5 years. Excellent, to be exact. All right? I have to break off now, all the best. Oh, thank you. Somebody said all the best. All right, thank you. So we are going to break off now, and I'm going to leave with this. Just bear in mind the mantra that we have for our students. We started off by saying, I'm the best. That's in first form, second form. Third form, we tweak to say, I'm the best, I must do the right thing. And then because of the nature of what is happening now with COVID-19, we tweak once more to say, I'm the best. But listen good now, I'm the best. Together we will rise. Please note, together, class of 21 can rise above whatever difficulties that we are experiencing now. And I'm saying to you, I expect all 239 students to be a part of this. I do not want to see any composite with a blank space. Nor, let me tell you from now, it's because I'm old enough, I can tell you, when you make certain choices, you regret it later on. I don't want any child here looking later on at the composite and start to curse themselves and say, but look at it, my picture is not there. I don't want any parent regretting the decision now. Look at it, my child is not there. Please make the sacrifice when necessary. Seek assistance when necessary. All 239 students are to be there. Is that clear? So if you know of any friend who's there, if and but in, encourage them. I'm saying, be there. All right. Thank you very much. We will take this meeting. We'll at this time conclude. And as I said, if there are other issues, please do not hesitate to WhatsApp me. If by now anybody know my number is 449-0726. You can WhatsApp me and we can have dialogue. All right. Oh, my link not opening. All right, Mr. Logan. Mr. Logan.
Yes, sir.
All right, help me out. Mr. Logan is a technical person. I have to jump to his side. Someone is saying that the link is not opening.
The link for what?
For the Google form.
Or which one of the Google forms? The graduation one?
Which one is it, Catherine? Catherine, which one?
Graduation, sir, graduation.
Or the graduation one?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Logan, what do you think is happening? I'm not sure.
You need to be signed in, so probably you're not signed in. If a prompt comes up to ask you to sign in, you'll need to sign in because it collects the email address.
Okay.
So if it is that you're not signed into a Google account, then it might not allow you to. So if a prompt comes up asking you to sign in to your Google, to your Gmail account, then you'll need to do that. I can't think of anything else that would stop it from happening.
And you recommend
okay, sir, thank you.
You recommended the MOE account, sir?
Yeah, the students. I don't think it's limited to the MOE account because it was sent to the WhatsApp groups. But yeah, but it's limited to one response per person.
No problem. All right. Did you post the 6 form Google form already, sir, in the group?
As soon as the meeting is over.
All right, good. So because somebody's asking, so we will be posting just at the end of the meeting, not yet. All right. So I think that is the last question. Thank you very much. And please, I'm going to ask you, let us work together as a team. We have done well so far over the last almost 5 years. We want to end, on a high note. Let's keep it there. Is that clear? Let us keep it on a high note. Okay. Good. So officially we have come to the end. Is there anyone who wants to move that this meeting be ended? Anyone? Or do we want to still stay here? Any parent? Any teacher? Anyone saying we are now ending this meeting? We are moving a motion for the meeting to end.
I'm Mrs. Unique, but that meeting might be adjourned.
Who's that, Miss Unique?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Unique, what's your first name again, Miss Unique, please?
Nicole.
Nicole, all right, any second?